What is up, people? Hello and welcome back to the Cup Chasers. That's right. We are back. A little bit late for the start of the new season, but yes, we are here coming at you live and direct. We're going to be doing the review of the weekend. Obviously, the Chelsea game was the one everyone's talking about. I was certainly happy to see the end of that one. Means that Arsenal are on top. And one thing that's interested me this past week is I don't know if it's slander. I don't know if people doubted Erling Haaland. I don't know if people are, just over this insane standard he's set, so it's no longer impressive. But the man is crazy. And then, of course, we're going to take a look at the U.S. men's national team as the World Cup is looming. Lewis, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, man? I got my what is it? The Club World Cup kit on. Like, hey man, I loved it. I had to buy this one. I don't have the new seasons kit because I don't really. I mean, I guess I do buy kits. I think I've bought one every year, but I don't. I'm not gonna buy one for this season because this was my one.
Yeah, that Club World Cup. We actually were out there at the Chelsea Benfica game at the Bank of America
right?
Stadium.
No, Bank of America. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. We went
in Charlotte. We went to that one.
We went together. Yes.
The one with the rain delay,
dude. Insanity, right?
And then the really just the handball for after we waited 45 minutes,
dude,
and then we got
awful.
the great VAR check to extend the game. So I'm not going to talk about conspiracy theories, but it was Chelsea. Speaking of, I was screaming at the top of my lungs at the end of that game, texting as you know, the chat.
Yeah, man.
About an 18-year-old coming on to win the day and keep Arsenal top for the international break. Of course, I'm not going to lie, it's completely biased. I hate Chelsea. But when they do me a favor like that, I'm going to celebrate, of course.
You got to show them love, man.
But, as much as I say that, they deserved the win.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely were fantastic.
For sure.
You know me. I'm a fan of the midfielders, the bruisers, the defensive, center midfielders who control the game, boss the game. And, Moises Caicedo he's
starting to look like the Brighton guy,
Oh yeah. I mean, aside from the absolute blaster, the ice beam rocket launcher, absolute hyper beam, which by the way is the only type of goal you ever see him score.
Yes.
I can't recall. It's Caicedo with the tap in. No, it's always Caicedo from 900 yards away with an absolute banger, but quite apart from that, the second ball, winning all the second balls, bossing, it was Wirtz in the second half, of course, but Szoboszlai in the first was not able to do anything. And I think, honestly, for me, even though Caicedo was fantastic and obviously gets the plaudits for the goal, I can't say enough about Malo Gusto. I was shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked.
And he's been constantly getting better.
But he was playing. I've never seen him play there ever. Maybe X and Patrick have seen him play in the center midfield role, but you could tell that Maresca said, "Look, it's a makeshift back line. We've literally got Achimpong and Big Booty Ashiel. So we're going to have to do something here." And he just said, look, all you have to do is stick to McAllister all day long. Stick to him like glue. That's what he did. Like, that's all he did the whole first half.
Yeah.
And, hey, man, if you look at Liverpool's recent run, the blueprint is there. Keep McAllister off the ball and attack Konate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the funny thing is that, I think they just had enough last year, but this year it's really early. People have figured them out really early. People didn't really know what they were getting with Slot. I mean, you did, but you didn't because, it's a different team, right? And this year, I kind of feel like there's that in addition to. I mean, Mo Salah is Mo Salah, right? He's not the same Mo, but he's still Mo. And but I'm unsure they can do it across all of the competitions, and they for sure have to. They have to do that because I think this is their third. This is their third loss, isn't it, in a row, right?
In a row.
Competitions, right? Because I know that the Champions League one was an issue too. So I think it's starting to show because we'll see. Like, what are their next fixtures? I think that
It's rough. The next fixtures are rough. It's United at home.
They'll beat them.
Yeah, and then there's a couple of tough ones before they play you.
Yeah, well, we don't know how good we are. They play Madrid, and then they play Villa and Palace, who's been Palace, man. Yeah, man.
Well, they just lost to Everton, which was a shock.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that mid-table sort of thing, even though obviously different for them, that mid-table is going to look real different this year, man. I don't think it's going to be very cut and dry.
No, definitely not. And I don't think that the relegation teams are going to be necessarily guaranteed to go right back down.
Nope.
The promotion teams, excuse me, I should say. But yeah, I definitely think that you got to shout out Lavia as well, who pretty much came on and did the same exact job on McAllister. And yeah, you can talk about McAllister's played a couple balls out of bounds, and he seemed to get bullied a little bit. Szoboszlai wasn't able to get on the ball. Well, that was because McAllister was being completely locked out of the game. And I think that enough can't be said about that right there. That was like the foundation on the rest of the performance that was able to completely keep Liverpool off their game. Because when they're just hitting those long balls, yeah, Salah's going to bring them down. And if Salah's not, if Salah's, he brings it down and then his second touch is amazing and then his third touch is in the stands. You don't expect that, but that's what it was. That's what it was in Turkey, and that's what it was on Sunday. And I think that it's a function of how Chelsea, they got the tactics completely right. I don't think Enzo's being shouted out enough because Gravenberch was the same. They just kind of went man to man, right? In that midfield. And like I've played that before. Like I've been in a system where, and this is way back in the day where we were playing a stopper sweeper, but the stopper was free. The guy that was like sitting in front of the back three in my high school team would be free to
just go,
just mark whoever their danger man was. That's kind of how we did it because at the high school level, at least in Charleston at the time, like if you had like an all-star, like a Maverick or whatever, somebody that could beat two guys and rip one, you were gonna wreck people.
Yeah, because people don't know how to mark that guy.
And so a couple of games where we were playing teams like that, my coach would be like, okay, just don't let him do anything. Don't let him turn. Don't let him get on the ball. No space, nothing. I don't need you to worry about tactics. I don't need you to worry about running over here or over there. Right. Just do not let him do
anything. Because everybody else will keep the shape. You do that.
I kind of feel like Maresca was like, okay, you stick to McAllister. You stick to Gravenberch. Don't worry about the rest. Caicedo will handle it. And they did. And it worked.
Yeah, and the thing about it is I think what Chelsea has now that we talked about, I know last year and the year before, is even though they're like overall young, winning the Club World Cup was a giant step for them. And it helped them as a young team recognize what they were capable of. I mean, they were very imperfect in that tournament. We got to see it firsthand. They were very imperfect. But what they did learn is if they seize those moments when they're good, they can be a very dangerous team. And so it's a matter of those players seeing, okay, I'm hot right now. It's sort of it's a very basketball thing where this person has the hot hand and you just let that person and you ride that person. In football, you really don't do that a ton. I mean, unless they're like an upfront guy, you just keep feeding that guy. But in
Yeah.
general, because of just spacing and movement, you can't do that. But and that's what Chelsea has kind of been doing. And so I respect them because remember last year, it was the Cole Palmer show. And I think it's
Hmm.
been good that he's been absent the way he has been because now the team is creating a little more balance for maybe an
But they have
overall
to because they have to.
right. But
Yeah.
even then, I think it's in more of an because I think if I'm being honest, I think Maresca probably wanted them to be balanced too because I think most coaches want that. But then if the guy is just doing it because he's the guy, it's hard to for the team to be like, but coach, like well, I hear you, coach, but
Sometimes just feed the beast, man. You
yeah,
know,
you know,
that's kind of what's going on at City right now, and we'll get there. But that's kind
yeah,
of I saw a graphic that I want to mention about Haaland and then the rest of your team's goals, but we'll get there. Um, I definitely want to also mention, obviously, the fact that Chelsea went through 9 center backs in this game.
dude. But I mean, I jokingly said in the chat, I was like, hey, they have like 8 defenders on anyways, or 6 or something.
I
So, but then
mean,
all their center backs started going out. I'm like, oh, okay,
yeah, and I want to spell all this out because I'm very, kind of gonna put it on Liverpool at the end of this, but teenagers were coming on and having better performances. Esteval gets there on the back post. Like as a defender, defending 101. Don't ever get beat on the back post. Don't ever leave your man. Like that's 101 stuff. And that was Andy Robertson. That wasn't Kirkes, who's catching a lot of flack because, he's finding out that Liverpool ain't Bournemouth. As much as I rate him, I think he's a good player, but he's struggling. And what's going on with Konate? Like, I can't. That one's baffling to me. Is his last injury did he not really come back from it?
well, the funny thing about injuries in football is that it's really hard to know how that affects you. And I mean, like I'm gonna make an insane claim about City and an injury later, but I think injuries are hard to kind of to play because you know this as an athlete. Everything is vibes, man. Like you might be good, but like you can feel a season, you can feel a game, and so it's about vibes and and something ain't right, you know. And maybe there was a dependency. I mean, because Virgil's been fine, right? But I mean, you got like, okay, well, Virgil got this, that, and the other. I'm supposed to grow into whatever, but it's not been that. And maybe Trent being gone matters too.
I think it does a lot. I think it's contributive to Salah's poor form. I think that it's contributive to their lack of creativity. And when you think about it, when you look at what they've done as far as in the transfer market, they lost a star right back who they did rely on for creativity and excellent crossing and pinpoint, kind of precision passes that are getting through lines and opening up space. But they tried to replace it with Florian Wirtz, who I think is a fantastic player, but is not a right back. It's a completely different part of the field that you're now trying to rely on to create. They've brought in Isak and Ekatike up front, who I think are both fantastic players. And the Isak greatest player in the world stuff was absolutely ridiculous. If you leave out Haaland, I think it's just take Haaland out of the strikers conversation because he's that far ahead of everyone. And then, okay, Isak, yeah, okay, sure. He's maybe as good as Lamine Yamal, maybe not. Who knows? Anyway, I don't think they are solving the problem they created with Trent's departure in a way they know how because they didn't do that last season with like Sabazalai wasn't the guy to get the ball, beat a man, and have the pass to Salah. Like that's what they're asking Wirtz to do, and he's struggling.
Well, in addition to that, I mean, the thing about it is and this is where I think a lot of people are missing it as well. He even though he wasn't a defender, he was such a unique talent. You can't replace unique talents. I think people really have to just start owning that. Like when City was like, "Hey, well, Foden is supposed to be De Bruyne." No, De Bruyne is De Bruyne. There's nobody else. Trent, like some of the balls that Trent played last year and the vision,
Crazy.
like you can't teach anybody like that. There's no other guy you're gonna get out of the market to do that. And so, yeah, okay, you're like, well, I'm gonna get Verts, but the thing is okay, you get Verts, but like the positioning matters because it's harder to mark, a fullback out than it is, a 10. And so you have to really start to look at like, well, and where the ball needs to be and how this guy plays and is he strong enough? And so there's so many factors, and you have to say, okay, we just need a fullback that can cross the ball. Like, let's just start there, right?
Well,
And
Frimpong is that. He's just not a great defender.
right, but the thing about it is that I mean, the accounting for like, okay, Trent was like here and Frimpong is here. So that means if this is what you lose, what does he compensate for to get him there, right? And your point, defending. Like if he's not a great defender, then you haven't done anything. Like, and I think the thing is that and we who are outside of the border rooms and in transfer offices, we can see it, but I mean, I'm sure that process is a lot more difficult than that because of the scouting, because then you're trying to figure out what guy fits that. Because I mean, Trent's been in Madrid, and I mean, I know he's had some injuries, but I think we all knew he didn't fit there anyways because he doesn't defend. Like
Right.
Madrid does require their defenders to defend.
If he's going to be the Carvajal replacement, Danny Carvajal was a superb defender. Superb.
that and so I think we get caught up in names and saying, okay, well, this well, it'll just work, and that's false. So to the point of maybe Liverpool figures it out. I mean, they was scraping by and eking by early with some stuff, and the reality and sort of the battle of attrition is starting to set in, because we're not even at like the stuff for the coming Carabao pickup, FA coming, like this, we're getting to it.
Yeah.
And
It's coming up, but
they got to
so
figure it
early.
out because after this international break is full on go, man.
I think they will. I think that because here's what I see, and and you know how I watch games and how I have like a tactical lens on stuff. And I think this is something they can apply to McAllister as well, which is interesting because he's got a year to or two, however many years he's got in the league to know this already. But something that Florian Wirtz clearly needs to learn, which I know the coaches know how to do this. Okay, he's tiny, right? And he's getting bullied by this kind of man marking that people are doing, especially in the Crystal Palace game, because he went to the left because he was playing on the left and just they had no one out there the whole game. I don't know if you watched that game. It was the first half of that game was a disaster for them because he was started at left forward in the 4-3-3 and then kept coming in off the left, drifting into the middle, and they would have no one. They were asking Kirkes to run the whole left side by himself and they got wrecked in that game. They should have lost 7-0. But anyway, and so what they need to do, and I think that they're going to figure this out, is in 1v1 situations when, and I've played forward. I've played where defenders are just blanketing, just on your back, just in your shirt the whole time, There are little moves that will get you space, right? There's the short, long where the defender, or say McAllister gets the ball, Wirtz comes to him, you play him, and then you just immediately tap it back to McAllister, spin the defender, and then chip it over him right into space, or when somebody is on you that hard, you can stop all of a sudden and go. There are ways that you can physically use your speed and your low center of gravity to beat somebody and get space in between and away from defenders that are gigantic, like Virgil. Like, say Virgil van Dijk was marking Florian Wirtz. You know what I mean? Say William Saliba is in your T-shirt. You know what I mean? There are ways to use that aggression against them. And I know for a fact that the Liverpool coaching staff, somebody can point this out to him and he can learn these kinds of things. Because in the Bundesliga, obviously the sport's a physical game, but there's no one in the Bundesliga like Newcastle. You go to Newcastle, you're coming away with so many bruises. You're just they're gonna crush you. You know what I mean? Yep. But professionals, but smart players like Messi, who was tiny, Mo Salah, who's not the biggest dude, they have figured out how to get that kind of space, even though, players like Big Gabriel are just all over you the whole game, But I think they will figure it out. And I think that anytime you've seen them in these games where they have broken the line, they have gotten the ball to McAllister, McAllister's beaten one guy, or they've done a 1-2, around the first presser, and one of them has space, they look absolutely deadly. They haven't had the edge in front of goal. Like, if you look at the Galatasaray game, they had like 20-something odd shots, couldn't manage to put one on target, 2 or 3 on target. So they've definitely struggled in front of the net. But when they have the space, they can tear teams apart, and they'll get it. They'll figure it out. So I'm excited that Arsenal are on top, but it's a long season.
For sure. And I mean, I think one of those interesting metrics about, the whole Christmas thing, I think it'll be very different this year. Not because of sort of the Christmas thing. It's just, I think teams are still learning themselves, which sounds strange, but I think they're learning themselves. And I think the festive period, as it's called, is really going to be interesting, because then it's about figuring out how teams advance in the January window, because I mean, there's already rumors and rumblings about what teams will be doing in January, and we just hit October. So yeah. I think it's the idea of like what's next, and trying to fix the issues that exist right now. And so, yeah, I mean, I think Arsenal, fair play to them, I think are where they've earned for the period, and Liverpool have, been fortunate in some cases, and they are where they are,
Yeah, I've been begging for the late winter, the late drama stuff to reverse, just like, and when it feels so nice when they get a little taste of their own medicine, it's like twice now, after you did it to 4 different teams, you've taken it back twice. And of course, it was Eddie Nketiah for Palace, former Arsenal man, who, that might have been. Eddie hasn't scored many awesome goals. He didn't score that. He did score a winner against Manchester United that I remember quite fondly. But this winner he got for Palace against Liverpool is right up there, man.
Oh, man.
I enjoyed that.
No, it was great. It was great. I mean, and my thing is that, I mean, I pay attention to the scores, but I try to kind of look at it and say, my standard is, hey man, if other teams get draws and we win, I'm good. Like, that doesn't bother me in the slightest. So it's good. I mean, I think the narrative, the TV narrative, which we occasionally talk about, was insane, because prior to these last 3 losses, the narrative was Liverpool's going to just walk over the whole league, and you're like, oh, really? And then that's where you're kind of just like, yeah, that's not it. But
it is satisfying. But I know in soccer, football, whatever, in any sport, in life in general, you don't always get what you deserve. The result isn't always what's deserved, but every now and again, every now and again, because if you go back and watch that whole Palace Liverpool game, Mateta should have had 4 goals. Like, not like, oh, it was a tough chance and, I would have had 4 goals. They absolutely lambasted them. And I thought Liverpool, there was 10 minutes near the end of the game that Liverpool it was kind of even. They were kind of back on top. And I'm like, man, they don't deserve anything from this game. I was mad. I was steamed up. And then when justice was served, I was like, okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Every now and again, it's good to see, like Arsenal and the Newcastle game. It's a good transition, like Arsenal and the Newcastle game. Yeah, we got 2 free kick goals, and you can say what you want about Free Kick FC or whatever, and it was a late winner, and Gabriel probably should have been called for a penalty, and he maybe should have gotten a red card for punching the pirate in the face, in the back of the head or whatever. Voltamada looks so much like a pirate. I love it. But we absolutely deserved to win that game, and that's not something you can say going to St. James's Park. And you said it a minute ago. I agree 100%. I think where we are right now, we 100% deserve.
Yeah, man.
Giving up 3 goals all in the Prem. People talking about breaking Chelsea's defensive record, and I'm like, all right, let's calm down. Let's just calm down. We only have 30 games left. We only have 12 goals to give on that. So you're anticipating 18 clean sheets already. 18 more clean sheets.
Yes.
Yeah. But we are playing well. We are the defense is locked down. And the huge difference this season is just miles of depth. We just got all kinds of all kinds of depth.
Well, I know this is. I mean, you have to take. I think take not necessarily a victory lap, but you have to take the chance to give the board some love because you finally got your striker. Like, I mean, you've been asking for it for 3 seasons, and you got one.
Yeah. And a lot of people have been comparing him to Haaland, and like I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it until we get to the Haaland section. You can't compare anyone to Haaland. Okay, if that's the standard, you are going to be mad. If Haaland is your standard for your striker, you're going to be mad. Okay, I'm just you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people are giving him Gyökeres stick, because he's only got 3 goals or whatever. And he's covers spaces and he doesn't. I absolutely love this guy. He's an old school, gritty, grapple, battle with the defenders, kind of on the last man, run into the channel, in behind type of forward. He is slow as a Sherman tank. Just, whoo! Oh man, I feel like I could keep up with him. But I'm a huge fan of this movement, of the way he battles, and I have heard from a couple of different people, a couple of different sources about how maybe that's not a good thing, that he enjoys the grappling and the battling so much. And it's been compared to Haaland's first season. When Haaland came into the league, obviously he was able to just bulldoze people, and he's able to leap, tall buildings in a single bound. So he was able to score shitloads of goals, but you said it earlier when we were off camera, Haaland isn't necessarily doing that anymore. He's kind of evolved a little bit, but in the beginning, he was battling with the defenders. Gabriel was getting under his skin and he's throwing the ball at him, and he's grappling with defenders and stuff. And he was able to do that. And maybe Gyökeres will able to have success doing that. But I've heard some say that perhaps he should try to get away from that and maybe learn from what Haaland's doing at City.
Well, and you look at that, I don't think, he's this, but, I think about Diego Costa and like how he was big and physical like that. but he also had a different kind of skill to his game. I mean, I want to say Costas probably was probably a little bit faster than him
Oh
during
yeah,
like that period.
definitely faster. Yeah.
But I think it's also connected to the play styles as well. And I mean, I think he'll be fine. I don't think it's gonna be. He'll do what they need him to do, and I think that's great. I think uh, if you can find, and I'm sure you're gonna come to this at some point. So, and I'm gonna approach it in the positive way. If you can find consistency and health with Odegaard, then you might be able to do a little more there. But
He's
I
made of
think he's done
glass,
fine.
bro.
Hey man, I
He's made
can't
of
call it.
glass.
I can't call it. I don't. But it's becoming. You didn't really see this before. It's becoming more persistent now, and you're. I'm kind of looking at like what's
I mean,
going on.
this season, it's been what has happened has been unlucky because not this injury, but the one before that was like his collarbone, was like a shoulder thing, and had nothing to do with the issues he's had in his leg. This one now, the contact he made, the contact his knee made with it might have been Diop. It might have been Diouf, the new left back for West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been the contact that their knees made. He's got a ligament damage from a contact injury.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
What?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like how? That's crazy. And what's so sad about it was, last season I would have said something to the effect of, we don't wish injuries on anybody, but he was awful anyway. This season he's come back and he's been fantastic. Like every second that he's playing since the last injury, since he came back from the shoulder thing, he's played like 2.5 games. It's been phenomenal. He's some of the best we've seen him play. And then just honestly, I have a sinking suspicion that he's like, oh, Arteta's gonna play Eze at the 10 as well while I'm out and he's cooking. Ruh-roh. And so he came back with a vengeance and then he's gone down again. So that's definitely an issue. But I definitely think the competition from Eze being able to play that same role, that same position, has got Martin kind of looking over his shoulder a little bit.
Well, especially in and I forget who somebody's talking about, but it's a World Cup year, man. Like these guys are like, I'm trying to get on the field, and so I mean, even though I can't see Odegaard not making his national team because it's him and Haaland. But
how would you not?
But at the same time, you're like, you don't want to put any kind of questions there either. You do want to. I mean, hey, well, did they lock up? I mean, I know we're not there yet, but did they lock up their place yet? I know they're top of their group, and they should be going to the World Cup.
Norway, they have to win this week. Like they have
against Italy, right?
They have like a do or die situation this week.
I thought they were the top of the table, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
I don't know if it's do or die, but maybe they still have. I don't know if they've qualified yet.
I know they were top. No, the reason I'm actually caring about that is because I think that affects his motivation. You know what I'm saying? And I think
they need one win to secure their spot. A win against Israel or Italy.
Yeah, because it's where's there? Yeah, because
they can, even if they don't win against either, they can still qualify in second place if Italy doesn't win their games.
Well, it's looking here because because Italy still has 2 games, so that's obviously 3 is 12. So I think at a minimum they need a draw. I think, but obviously a win would do them a lot better. But I think they'll win that game anyway. So and then once they're in the World Cup, I think then he'll probably have because then he won't play any of the friendlies.
No,
because there will be no need for him to play in any of those things.
No. Well, I don't think he's going to be playing in these in that qualifying match.
No, well, he's hurt still, right?
He's hurt. Yeah, that's like that ligament. That's a 2-month injury.
Yeah, man.
He's going to be out for a minute, so he's definitely not playing. Not playing against Israel. But I expect them to win that. Haaland might be able to win that on his own. Although I cannot speak to the quality of the Israeli team at the moment. Having not seen them play in some time or maybe even ever.
I find it funny. It's not even political, but I find it funny how, I mean, I know sport brings people together, but I don't even know how those guys on that team could focus on playing football at a time like this, man. I can't even imagine.
They probably thought they were going to get banned. Like that ruling just came down like last week that they were cool, that they weren't going to get banned, that FIFA decided not to sanction them. Yeah, and I'm not giving, like you say, it's nothing political. I have no, not putting any kind of opinion about any of that. But I kind of thought that it was leaning towards a ban.
Because then, I mean, that affects how they play. That affects the qualifiers and everything because they're in third place. And they're on 9 points just like Italy is. So, I mean, realistically, say Italy loses and Israel wins. Israel's on 12 points now, and they're in second place, and that affects everybody at that point.
Yeah.
So I wonder how people in those situations kind of deal with those things because I don't know. I mean, I know sports get you through this stuff, but I don't know. But yeah, I think Odegaard. I think that the World Cup. In what you said, I mean, obviously the Eze thing matters, but I think the World Cup is also in the back of everyone's mind because I know at City they were talking about Coleman was talking about Ake needs to play more, even though Ake's played every game except one. I mean, he hasn't played like heavy minutes, but he's played every game except one. He's been fine.
He's made an appearance,
but it's obviously the managers are like, hey, I need these guys to start getting more minutes. Hey, man, that's nice. This is club season, man. We don't care about none of that.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, I think Arsenal has earned where they are, and I mean, I guess we got to give a chance to also give Arteta a little bit of a shout out, right? Like
that was definitely my next thing, and I want to definitely come out and say I've been incredibly critical, of the way Arteta has gone about things, especially in big games away from home. And I feel I've been right to call out, certain things that I would, appear as cowardice in the way we've set up and played. But in the last 3 games from the Newcastle, Olympiacos, and now West Ham, the formation has been attacking, like the personnel has been very attack minded. All 3 games, like everything that I've complained about and asked that he said, oh, well, we need more of this and we need more of this. He's checked the box. He's done all of it. He's managed minutes. He's, managed subs, the injuries can't be helped. I have no complaints in the last 3 games, which is insane, which is crazy. Even in the West Ham, even though in Olympiacos, we didn't put our foot on their, we didn't really curb stomp them. We didn't really put it on them like we could have. I thought it was a very professional performance. It was we've got you at arm's length. You're not really trying to do anything crazy. And so all we need to beat you is third gear. And here it is.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the same versus West Ham, which, they're in a transition period. And the way I actually put my money on it, I should have thought about the fact that they have changed goalkeepers since Nuno came in. They went back to Areola, and Nuno's teams don't necessarily give up. It's a complete change of identity for West Ham, and I was still like, all right, Declan Rice goal or assist because of the corner kicks. Right. Big Gab's going to get a corner kick goal. I want, over 10 corners. Like, it's corner kick city, and they only got 9 corners, actually. We didn't hit that one. But it was not at all, and it was not at all like that. But Nuno has some sort of like, I don't know what it is about when he comes to the Emirates, because last season at one of the best I've seen Nottingham Forest, he came to the Emirates and gave Arsenal a ridiculous amount of respect, and we waxed them 5-0 or 3-0, destroyed them because they just gave us a ton of respect. And I thought West Ham kind of did as well. You know, they didn't really offer much going forward, and once again, we just kind of kept them at arm's length. I thought that Eze should have scored twice. I think that he's playing really well, and the team is playing really well, and we're gelling. You know, so some of the misses that he's had have kind of gone under the radar a little bit, you know, and I think he's doing everything but the G&A. And I know that will come. And I have no worries about that, especially if Arteta continues to play him in the 10, which I expect since Odegaard has gone down. Yeah, like I say, I'm really happy with how everything's going. You know, I could talk about how I think Trossard and Martinelli can be a liability, but right now they're both playing very well. They're both adding goals and assists. You know, when Trossard starts, he's kind of a hole in the formation, but every now and again he'll step up and do something, and you know, a little move or some kind of technique that, you know, it's like, okay, he's still there. All right, you know.
Yeah, but I think it's not as going as far as saying a shell of himself, but he's clearly a different player now. And, you know, I mean, he can give you flashes, but it would be wise to avoid depending on him being that guy that he was.
Well, maybe it's the same with Odegaard. Now that Madueke's here and he's got more
And Madueke has been playing well.
Injured. But yeah, like I say, we've got so much depth that hasn't been that, you know, that big of a deal.
Now, with that being said, and because I know we've talked about depth and we've given Arteta credit, I think this is also something that kind of, you know, and it's not the sort of too forward thinking, but it is there. I mean, and I think he may be playing that way. Do you think there's the pressure now of, hey, we gave you everything this year, man. We've given you everything. No, still no.
No.
Just curious.
I hear you.
They've given him everything this year.
And that's the fan sentiment. That's 100% the media sentiment, the fan sentiment, like that's, you know, the feeling around, you know, the stadium and the club. But I really, really cannot stress and cannot, you know, I don't know how much more emphatic I can be when I say that the relationship that Arteta has with Josh Kroenke, with Stan Kroenke, there's no pressure. There's no pressure. He's got the greatest job security on earth. On earth. You can, the media can say whatever, all the pundits can say whatever they want, all the fan channels, the AFTVs, everybody can say, oh, the pressure's on. He's got to win this season. He's got to win. If Arteta has not yet been fired after all the BS that we've gone through in his tenure, after all the almosts, after all the bottle jobs, after all the throwing away cups, after all the Granit Xhaka tossing armbands, after all this, he's been safe and he's gotten raises and new contracts. There's talk of another new contract already. If you think that he's going to get fired before we win a trophy, even if that's 12 years from now, think again. That relationship is rock solid. He's not going anywhere. I've accepted it. I've just accepted it. No matter what happens. We could lose 9-0 to Tottenham.
No,
at home.
I don't think that's that.
Yes, we could. I
really.
I have accepted it 100%. 100% have accepted it. He has been disgraceful. He is not a winner. He has not won anything in 6 years.
He's won 2 trophies. What are you talking about? Hey, man.
He's won one trophy. He won one trophy with a team he did not assemble.
Hey, man.
What other trophy? What's the second trophy?
You know what? I hear you and I agree, but I'm going to push back on that one a little bit for this reason. When people say stuff that about people who win trophies with teams from other people, you still got to win the games because we don't count games. I agree, but you still got to count those other people who had teams from other people that they didn't win with that were built to win. So I think we got to give him he still got to cross the finish line, man. Yes, did they put him one step away from the finish line? Yes, but you still got to cross it. Fine. So I'm not going to hate on him for that. I'm not going to hate.
What about my 23-year drought?
Hey, man.
What about the real trophy? What about the 23-year Premier League title? What about the forever drought? What about the never drought?
Look, man, I was just trying to bring some optimism in.
You know how I feel about this. You know how I feel about this. You know?
I do, man.
And you remember way back when we started the show, I said, yeah, I think eventually he can get there. And Josh Kroenke bought into that. He just decided that eventually was a time that he was willing to wait.
Well, I mean, they're making money, so I guess it doesn't matter, right?
No matter how long eventually takes, the Kroenkes are willing to wait. And so strap in, Arsenal fans, because Arteta's here to stay.
Yeah.
And hey, you know, I'll tell you this. There's only one moment, in all of Arteta's tenure that I've actually, in my gut, believed we were going to win the league. Can you guess what it was?
I don't know. 2 years ago?
3 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. That was a good season.
When Reece Nelson beat Bournemouth in the 95th minute for us to win 3-2. There was, for a shining moment, for like 5 minutes while I was freaking my mind out, I thought, because it's the only time I've ever texted the chat, and I said, we're going to win the league. That's the only time I've ever said that. And right now is as close as I've gotten to that since then.
Fair enough. Hey, let's pause for just a second. I mean, obviously we're live, don't pause, but give me a second. I got to go pick something up out the other room, and then I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, right now I think we are as close as we've been since that season. And I think we can play like that this season. Again, I think that we have the depth. I think that in addition to the depth, we have people who can keep the quality at that level when we bring subs off the bench, which is obviously not something we've been able to say in the past. And so I think that perhaps it is Arsenal's year. Perhaps it is time for us to win the league. But Arteta is going to have to continue to show what he's shown in the last few games, continue to show the willingness and desire to let him off the leash, let the players and the attacking talent and quality that we have do what they can. And I think because we have such a strong defense, we need to rely on it. We need to be able to, you know, yes, we're not great against transitions, but we need to be able to rely on Willie and Gabriel defending against transitions, because we're going to face a lot of them if we continue to do this attacking style and this attacking impetus, which I think we 100% should. We have the firepower to score 4 goals every game. Let's do it. Even if that means our formation and team will be opened up more, and we may give goals. We may not have the best defense in the league, but that's why I'm not yet to the point of saying, yes, we are 100% going to win the league, because the big question still remains, what's Arteta going to do at the Etihad? What is Arteta going to do when we, go away to big stadiums? Well, what are we going to do at the San Siro? I'm very interested when we go play Inter Milan in the Champions League. I'm very, very interested to see that. I'm very interested to see how we play against Bayern. The last time we played against Bayern at home, we were not an attacking force at all. So I want to see us go at them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We are now a team that doesn't need to fear anyone. We smoked Real Madrid last season. I'm not saying we'll be able to do that again but I'm saying that the mentality that we haven't had, that I've called out as the only thing lacking, I think is slowly but surely being built. And it's there, like, for example, this may be something small, but it is a fact. We lost the last 2 league home games against West Ham. And
really?
So, yep. And so that is a result that we have overturned from last season. And those are points we didn't get last season. The away teams in that fixture have won like 6 straight until just now, until last weekend, until we beat them at home. Because we smoked them the last 2 seasons at the London Stadium and then lost at home. The West Ham loss last season was kind of what put us down out of the Premier League race, really. So
I think even though I support who I support, I love the league being good. I love the good stories. I love the competition. And so I can see it. I mean, you have great central defenders. You have a great 6. Got a good striker there. Whenever Saka is fully healthy, you'll have a pretty great wing. Odegaard is good. You're solid just about everywhere, and it's just a matter of sort of just having a cohesion for the physical and mental cohesion, because I know sometimes the other thing that you all run into is the mental part. The mental part becomes a challenge because of just like, hey, we've never done it. And this is where the point I made about Chelsea, them winning the Club World Cup, was actually giant for them, because it's taken them to where they could beat Liverpool, and they've made sort of these runs. And I think but I think this goes to a point. I think I said this either last season or the season before, but it may even been before this one, when I made a mention to you guys. I said they got to win a trophy, like this group. And so the Carabao Cup, whatever, like if you can get any cup early, get that cup early.
I agree,
because then they know what the trophy lift feels like. Because I mean, if we're being honest, and I know I said true trophies, but like lifting the Community Shield against City is, yeah, I think did you guys beat City for that one? I think you did. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, it was a trophy lift, and
it was penalty kicks too.
The prince or the king,
the deflected goal.
But I'm not even this sort of the sort of diminishing the result. It's the trophy. The trophy. It's a trophy, but it wasn't that trophy, Right. And so and people, they joke about the Carabao Cup. It's the Mickey Mouse Cup and whatever else they call that. We make jokes about. Getting that one gets you somewhere, because, and I'll give you an example. Was Spurs in the final of that last year? Who was in that?
They won the Europa League last year. Newcastle, right. Newcastle won last year.
Yes. So it was but I like it. it helped Newcastle, but like for example, Spurs winning the Europa League helped them later, you know. And so you got to get the real trophy lift, but before like the trophy lift, you know. And
Yeah.
then if I use the same example, it's like when City won that FA Cup. When they won that FA Cup, it led them into the league because they didn't know how to win, and you have to win. So I think if you guys, I don't know how much energy. I mean, you got the depth, so you should go for it. If Arsenal goes for it in the Carabao Cup, I think that would be something that benefits them. I know we've talked about that before, where I put weight into it. I think it's worth winning because City didn't start winning stuff like even with Pep, they didn't start winning stuff until that Carabao Cup became the Man City Invitational. And then
Like
when it became
6
that,
seasons in a row or something.
but then when it became that, guess what followed that?
Yeah.
100 points,
All
4 in a
kinds
row,
of trophies.
3 in a row.
Yeah.
You gotta win something consistent, man.
No, I agree. I wouldn't mind winning the Carabao as well, but purely for the mentality, as you say, and the momentum reasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's all it is. It's not more than that.
But I also think that, you know, this group has experience now. You know, when we first made the Champions League, it's like, oh, this group of players, they never played in the Champions League before. They don't know what it's like. And you could tell, you could see that we were scared away to Bayern. We're very scared that game. Like you can see that. But now, like we're not scared of anybody. After going, if you can go to Real Madrid in a knockout game of the Champions League, like we have no excuse in the Champions League to be. And I think, and we have a favorable schedule. I think we're going to cruise into top 8, and I think we have experience now that, you know, I'm hopeful we can make deep runs across the board.
I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, and again, I know this is another narrative, and I really haven't watched a ton of, or I've watched very little like punditry on football. I might catch a headline here and there because I've been a little disjointed from it, but I've still paid attention, or disconnected from it, but I've paid attention. But I think, you know, it's a matter of just sort of being your best version of you when you can, and if you do turn the noise off, you can make those runs because I mean, clearly now that everybody knows what the next level of the Champions League is after last year, and watching PSG kind of do that thing, you're like, yeah, man, I get it now. I think I understand what it is. So I think it's a more, not an easier path, but it's a more clear path of what the hurdles could potentially be.
Right. And speaking of hurdles, your man is leaping hurdles, buildings, defenders, bulldozing people over all over the place. Youngest to 50 goals in the Champions League. He's on 18 goals this season already.
Yeah,
in all competition. The guy, Erling Haaland is just, you know, I can't heap enough praise on his name, man. The guy is absolutely crazy. And he's doing, as we've said, more and more and more. He's learning. He's getting better. You know, but our City being carried right now, because I saw the graphic. Bernardo Silva, 2 goals. That's your next highest goal scorer. 2 goals.
Yep.
That's not good.
No, it's not.
That's not what you want.
No, it's not. Well, you know, the interesting thing about that is that in that same breath where he has the 9 goals, I think he has 2 assists in the league, or 1. Is it 1 or 2?
I think he's got
1.
a couple.
I think across all competitions, I think he has 2 or 3, and he has 1 in the league. But the thing that I find to be the most interesting thing is that what he's doing is he is intentionally trying to get other people involved. So I don't know if he recognizes it because, hey, I'm scoring all the goals. I think he's developed his game in a way that I think lends it to the fact, and I think this is a really big deal connected to Pep making him a captain, a part of the captain crew, is now that he has leadership, I think he's seeing it a little differently. And so I'm happy that he's scored. I mean, it's a feed the beast thing, but before it was just him making those runs, playing off shoulders. But now you're seeing him check in, you're seeing him dribble, you're seeing him pass, you're seeing him do 1-2s with people that he didn't do before. And I know, and again, I've really stayed away from punditry, but I remember the pundits in the past really questioned if he could do anything else other than just be a big physical dude that would score. And if that's the case, like, somebody will figure that out and then the goals will dry up or speed won't be there forever. And all of those things are true, but I mean, about, the things that they kind of warned if he stayed the same. So I've fully embraced who he's become. And it's very interesting because the issue here, and I'm not here to dump on City, even though I'm very honest about my team.
Oh, go ahead. I don't mind you dumping on City.
But here, my issue is that there's a disconnection in the midfield, right? So they're I mean, and I'm being flatly honest. So here's the thing. Here's the thing that I'm going to say that people will disagree with me about. There's been this idea that, especially all of last year, that Rodri was going to be the savior of every. Hold on a second.
Yes, Lawrence Legends. Thor's he's not only using his hammer; he's using other things.
He has an axe now.
But well, yeah.
But my biggest thing is, and so this is one of my first indictments on why I think City is having some issues, is when Rodri won the Ballon d'Or, deservedly, that 10 toes down, 2 hands, low crawling with elbows, throwing dirt in the air, definitely, absolutely deserved it, no questions. Especially what he did with Spain as well. He deserved to win the Ballon d'Or there. He got hurt early in the season last year, and he was gone. And people kept saying, "Well, he's the best player in the world." Well, I'm gonna pause on that for just a second. Yes, he did deserve it, and he was the best player that year. But the best player in the world is not is not a thing that a title you carry just until perpetuity. That's not how that works.
Not because even Messi nor Ronaldo were able to keep that the whole time.
Yeah. And so it was at that time, and during a window, even before he won the Ballon d'Or, was he the best holding midfielder, maybe overall midfielder in the world for probably 2-3 seasons? Yes, I'm flatly saying that. But here's the thing, is that he had a significant injury where he had no significant injuries, and it changed this and his body. And you can see, like, he's had moments where he's looked like himself, but he's not the same guy anymore.
Right.
And somebody said this to me recently, and it was actually last weekend. I was at a supporters club, watching the game. It was a rough game. But here's what they said, and I don't disagree, even though I don't see it happening. Madrid wants Rodri. Rodri's on a 2-year deal. He has 2 years left. City should cash in on that. They should absolutely get all the money they can for him, because, and I know they're trying to sign him to a new deal, which I understand. I respect both sides. But if City were to sell him, I would have zero problem with it for the following reason. It's very unlikely he ever returns to the guy he was.
Right.
Because he's what, 30 now? He's 29, 30 years old. He's coming off of ACL. He's had hamstring. Like, that's why he left the game last. He had a hamstring injury. Because
he's got another one. Yeah, I saw that.
Once you start recovering from those things, other things start to go. And he was never like a speed guy, but he had consistency. He had the engine, and he had power. He still has the power, but the consistency in the engine is not there anymore. That's what his game was predicated on. After his game was predicated on that, it was predicated on the fact that Gundogan was a great 8, and De Bruyne was an insane 10-8, right? And those two players don't exist anymore. City literally has shown this, and this is what people complain about because people get mad at City passing backwards. But in their passing backwards, they control the field and the midfield. They no longer can dominate the midfield. And so if we keep expecting this guy to be that guy again, we're in a very sad state. Because the other thing that's happening is that Nico, the guy who was supposed to be Rodri Jr., he can play the position, but he hasn't had the chance that Rodri had to play with him, which I've questioned this lineup too, because the way Rodri became Rodri is he played with Fernandinho, learned from Fernandinho. He made a bunch of mistakes, but Fernandinho coached him on the field. There's not been a moment in a real game where Rodri and Nico Gonzalez has played together so he can learn from him. Because Nico can play the 8, he can play the 6. But now you have Reinders there, who's always going to be the 8 because he's a good player. He has, his issues, but he's a good player. And so now if you're putting the midfield together that I'm saying that would help them learn of Rodri in December because he's hurt now, and Rodri and Reinders and Nico, they can start learning, so then you can slowly phase Rodri out. But you're not going to do that because now Nico can't learn in real time from him. And then now you have to move Foden somewhere, and now you have to move Shirky somewhere. And now what do you do? Because then the next issue on why Haaland has to score all the goals is specifically because the wing play has been absolutely mediocre with the exception of Jeremy Doku.
Yeah, Doku's been all right.
Doku has literally shown he's a better player. And I was on this last year. Savinho, I don't know why they gave him a new contract. I'm sure there's some behind-the-scenes stuff. I'm sure there's some training stuff. And I'm sure there's some protectionism of an investment. He should never start anymore. He does nothing. And my thing is, and I've said this, I don't know if I've said it to you, but I know I've said it when I've gone to watch him. He's an amazing player when he's reactionary. When he has time to think, turn it off. His football IQ it needs to be improved. I'm sure he has a better active football IQ than me, but
he's really young, isn't he?
He's 21, but Doku is 22. So we're not using that. And Phil Foden was young. So I can hear young, but if Pep puts you on the field, he believes you have this because he don't put guys on the field without that. Because you have to know how to play his game to do it. The physical don't mean nothing. So you look at that, so you have that.
Well, how do you feel about Marmoush?
I love him. He's hurt. So
he's hurt again.
But the problem with Marmoush is that he needs to play under Haaland, like Alvarez did. But if he's playing under Haaland, now Foden is no longer in his best position because Foden is wonderful as a 10. And now you shift him out wide. And then now where does Shirky go? Now you don't have dynamism with Doku. And so now what are we doing? And those guys don't really hold the ball either. So now, except for Shirky. Shirky holds the ball. And so we're here looking of, well, what's our best 11? Like we don't have that. Because then if I go deeper as I go into the defense, and I probably mentioned this to you all as well, Diaz has been on a consistent decline. He was good parts of last year, but he was showing that he wasn't that guy anymore. And the fact that he's slow is so glaringly large that you're like, okay, it's huge. Because if I'm Pep, my back line is Aït-Nouri, even though he's not a great defender, but he's fantastic going forward. He's Trent on the left. And I would play Gvardiol, fantastic guy. I would play John Stones, and then I would play Kuzanov. Because Kuzanov is literally the replacement of Kyle Walker because he plays the same. He's a speed merchant, and he crosses the ball randomly, and he can defend, but he doesn't give you anything going forward. He's literally Kyle Walker.
Yeah.
And
Johnny Stones is glass as well, man. I said Odegaard is glass, but John Stones is glass as well, man.
I agree. And so I'm taking away. I'm talking about skill. I'm talking about skill.
Oh yeah,
Because if I
yeah,
have a back line of Gavardiol and Stones, you're not doing anything with that because Gavardiol's fast.
huge.
Stones is one of the smartest center halves you'll
Yep.
find. Even though he's hurt all the time, if you could pick the IQ of any center half, you take him. You take his brain. And so with that, you start to look and say, well, how do you figure out the best grouping? Because he's going to keep playing Nunez at right back, which I give respect to Nunez for like trying to develop to become a right back. And then you put Rico over there who gets bullied. But the issue is that we with if Diaz is on the field, we don't have any speed. So you gotta have somebody who has speed. And so why does Haaland score all the time? Because now you notice we play long balls. So we play long, especially since Gigi is there. And I appreciate Gigi, the save he made in the game, absolutely great. I mean, it's the striker fumbled that. If the striker didn't I'm not Buffon. I guess he's going that direction. But if Donnarumma, if he doesn't do what he does, the striker easily beats him.
Yeah.
And I say Ederson probably would have done what Donnarumma didn't do. And because he came out, he got big. And then you had Nico O'Reilly come and pressure the opposite side. It forced that. So it was smart defending. But because the keeper is different, now we have to play differently, which is fine.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good transition because the other thing that City fans don't want me to say, so I said sell Rodri. The second thing I'm saying is Pep is leaving. City fans don't like to hear it. You have to start playing a different way because he's not going to be there. He has max next year. And I'm being honest. I think if City happened to win a big trophy this year, so Champions League or the Premier League, I think he leaves.
Go out on top. Yeah.
If they don't, he'll stay one more year to just try. But I think that's it. And because that's it, I look at that and I say he's done. And not Pep is done, but Pep is done managing. And if he's done managing, you have to start changing the style. Yeah. And I think that was a part of the reason, because a lot of people said, well, why did they get Gigi? Because, I mean, why did they get him? He doesn't play like Pep does because he was not a purchase for him. It was the same way when Pellegrini was there and they purchased De Bruyne. De Bruyne was a purchase for Guardiola. We all know that's who that was for. And so that's my take on it. I don't know what City will look like going forward this season. I just go in and I understand one specific thing. I was able to be an adult and aware of life to see one of the greatest periods of football in the team's history. Maybe in any team's history, but in the team's history. And because that's the case, I'm not spoiled. I don't expect, but I've always been humble about it. I don't expect to win everything. And if we can make a run in any cup and be competitive in the league going into April, May, I'll be very happy. Can City win? Yes, the league still looks open.
It's open for sure.
Champions League, because PSG now PSG was pretty dominant, but the way the new Champions League is set up, do I think we can make a run? The way this Champions League is set up, I think anybody can make a run. You get hot at the right time, and so that's why I leave those two. The FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, or whatever it's called now, I don't know. Because I think there's a lot of injuries that we're dealing with, and I don't think he's going to prioritize those.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see. I'm wondering if he's going to go with, maybe kind of force the transition himself and start changing things a little bit himself, especially with the way he's been structured as far as personnel and the kind of dynamic he'll have to create with the style of midfielders you have, because I don't know if Nico Gonzalez, especially if he's not going to be learning from Rodri directly in real time, I don't know if he's going to be able to replicate some of the things that Rodri's able to do. And so I think you might have to just have Nico in the 6 and maybe play a real kind of attacking, high press style with, Reinders and Shirky, or Foden and Reinders, or Foden and Shirky, like in the two midfield positions ahead of him, and just like flat out maul teams. You know what I mean? Yeah. Go at people, because your defense is gonna get beat. Y'all gonna leave. You're gonna leak goals.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is that they've gotten better because I think there's a consistency in what the back line is now. Like obviously Kuzanov is the destroyer. He's a sweeper even though he plays fullback, right? He's literally a sweeper, man. And he's what Diaz was, but with speed. And Gvardiol is obviously still that guy. He's probably, if we're being honest, if you can get the consistency, he's one of the better over complete center halves that you can find in the league. And he's a left footer, so it makes him very unique.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if we can possess the ball, I actually in the last game I was thinking, because I know Kovacic just came back, but my suggested sub was for Kovacic to come on for Reinders. And I thought if Kovacic would have been there, he can hold the ball. And I think Kovacic is going to end up being like that closer guy because he can hold the ball. He doesn't have to be a 6, but he can play 6'8". And I think he might be able to help Nico sort of figure that out.
Yeah.
But it's going to take Nico might pick it up towards the end of the year, but it's a fast game, man, and a lot of people are not catching how fast it is. So going back to the original point about Haaland scoring all the goals and why he's coming back in, he's doing that because he's created, I think, 3 of his own goals. He just had to do it. And so I think that's where they are. And this is why Marmoush coming back is going to be huge because, obviously Haaland wants to play all the games, and I'm sure it's in his contract that he plays all the games too. But I think it's important that he gets a chance to rest because another thing that exists is Oscar Bob. He's been an amazing player. He's great on the wing, but he's another guy who was set to have an amazing season, and then a leg injury, threw him off. And he's better than Savinho. Like in my opinion, if you played, I'm not dumping on Savinho. I just think he doesn't fit what City is trying to do.
Right.
And because of that, I think it just makes it very difficult because he's not dynamic at all. He's supposed to be like the regen of Mahrez. Well, here's the thing. Mahrez was dynamic and he could score. Literally could score. Savinho can't score. This dude has scored 1 goal in 2 seasons. And here's why the issue is a big thing, because I did see this on Twitter, or X or whatever it's called. They said name a player that Pep has developed, and people named a bunch of people because he's developed tons of players, so that's completely false. He's never developed anybody. But the largest, most significant one was he turned Raheem Sterling into a world-class goal scorer. And nobody wants to own Raheem Sterling is the 3rd highest goal scorer in Man City because he was an absolute monster under Pep.
Where's Gabby Jesus on that list? He's like 4th, isn't he? He turned. Jesus was high on that list.
No, he's not. He is not high. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't. Okay,
he didn't score. That's why I was fine with him leaving. but Sterling.
Trust me, I know. Trust me, I know.
Think about it. Even though Sterling wasn't like in Messi's realm, Sterling was putting Messi-like numbers up while Messi was at PSG. And if Sterling had just been a hair better the year City lost in the Champions League to
Chelsea.
No, it was the year before that. He missed a goal. He missed a sitter.
What, when Benzema dunked on you guys by himself?
Yeah, it was that one.
Yeah.
If Sterling just hits one, Sterling would have literally had a legitimate shout at Ballon d'Or that year. Legitimate shout. So to say that he's never turned anybody to anything. If he turns Sterling into that,
yeah.
And I'm not accepting Savinho being what he is right now. I'm not.
I hear it.
Because Sterling came to City young and Sane came to City young and I don't want to hear it. I'm not trying. Doku came and Doku showed
he's improved.
So I'm not trying to hear that. And then obviously the City one, that who he developed, Phil Foden. Are we serious? Like
Yeah.
what? But yes, that's my assessment of City so far. I don't know what it is. I couldn't predict anything going forward from here.
No, I think that y'all have quietly been, a bit resurgent.
We're decent, fifth place.
Perhaps it's the maybe it's the fixtures or whatever, but I think y'all are improving, and yeah, of course, I don't think anyone's quite perfect, quite firing on all cylinders yet, and I think that will come, of course. But speaking of not firing on all cylinders, whew, when old Pochettino was appointed to the job here in the U.S., I was not excited. Nor was Patrick.
Nor should you have been, because I was hating on it too. But everybody was like, "Oh, well, he got a name?" I'm like, the dude that told his team he was going to leave him when the Champions League final, and then they got smoked. That guy.
That's the guy. Yeah, that's who we got. I don't know, man. I know that from kind of like a marketing point of view and kind of like a show point of view, the World Cup is going to be awesome. It's great infrastructure here. It's one of the best places to host it, of course. As far as travel and I guess safety. I don't know. There's a lot of issues and a lot of people who there's been some noise, about safety at some of these stadiums. I don't think that, I don't necessarily expect there to be a lot of craziness in that regard, at the World Cup. But I'm excited about it, man. I'm hearing all kinds of different things. There's going to be even one company that's going to be debuting air taxis. So, yeah, it's a company called Archer Aviation, and they have the rights to, you can like park way away from the stadium, like out in lot J or whatever, and you can get in a hovercraft, like a mini helicopter, and it will taxi you to the stadium in like a helicopter.
Okay.
Yeah, there's and I mean, I think it's going to be at SoFi out in LA. I think is where that's going to be. So that's one of the random things that we might see at the World Cup. But as far as what Team USA is going to be doing, I'm worried. I'm very, very worried. I'll say individually, we do have some people looking good this season.
Yeah, man, Pulisic has been amazing this year.
Pulisic has been doing great for Milan, of course, and you may not hear it as much, but Weston McKennie plays like every minute for Juventus.
He does, but he played well last year too. Last season,
yeah, for sure. But he plays in such an interesting role for Juventus because they play the 3-5-2, the wing backs. Mm-hmm. McKennie played left wing back against not Milan, but he may have played against Milan. I didn't get to watch all of that one, but the game before it was who did they play? It might have been Como. He was playing left wing back. So his versatility is such that in that team, and Juventus they score lots of goals. They're not defending great this season, but they are able to score lots of goals, and so maybe it's because they got Weston McKennie at left wing back. But his versatility has shown that he's getting tons of minutes, and it's good to see that, plenty of other Americans as well are getting good minutes for these big European teams.
Well, I think another thing is just because I'm trying to I'm gonna see the friendlies, because who are our friendlies coming up? So we got Ecuador and Australia.
Ecuador and Australia, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm looking at it, man, and I look at it like this. I mean, they can win despite the whatever the manager is doing, right? But the issue is, and I believe it because because I think fate and fortune will allow the USA to get a group they can get out of. I think that's going to happen. I think Mexico will get a group they can get out of. I think Canada will get a group that they can get out of. So I think they're going to get there, and I think after that, I think that's where the journey ends. Because
I mean, it depends. It definitely depends on the draw. It depends on the side of the bracket we get on. Like we need a favorable.
but even then, because unless the outside of that draw of getting out of the group stage, and they either get Canada or Mexico, I don't see them beating anybody. Because the other team, I feel very confident the other teams will be one of the significant world powers in football, and I don't see it, man. Because the thing is that we've already had the sort of philosophical issues where when the media got into it and it was like, okay, why is Captain America not coming to play in the Gold Cup or whatever cup that he skipped?
Yeah.
And we need you here to be a leader, but we were playing in two cups. That what? Like, come on, man. And then this, like, literally what he did was clearly good for him to go into the league season because I don't care about this other stuff.
Right.
And I know
the
that
Nations League.
Like, I know people don't like the fact that, players are like, we don't care about a competition when it comes to national team because of patriotism or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, these guys, another sort of criticism is, oh, well, they play, they get paid a lot of money. Yeah, but the club pays them not a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Like the national team, they get some money, and they normally all donate that money.
It's normal, yeah.
So their money comes and their place on the team comes from them playing for their club.
Right.
And so if I don't got to play these extra games, then why would I? Like, I know you've probably said this or felt this, like when Arsenal goes into the international break and you got a guy that's on it and you see a guy get called up, you're like, God, please don't get hurt because you don't know what the national team manager is. Like John Stones got called up, as we talked about him being glass. Man, I wish he didn't get called up.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, Jude Bellingham didn't get called up, and I'm sure Real Madrid is like, yes. Because he's playing in the World Cup. No one's worried about that. Like Phil Foden didn't get called up. City fans are like, yes. You know why? Because I don't want him there. Like these are friendlies. Let some new dudes play and see who else can play and learn some new names.
In the case of England, it's even worse too, because it's a game that doesn't matter. They're already qualified, but they're playing Wales. Wales cares about that.
Yeah, for sure.
The Wales team give a shit every time they play England. England might be like, oh, well, whatever. We can beat Wales any old time. No problem. We're bigger, better. England, whatever. Wales care. They don't, even if it's a friendly. Anytime any of the other British nations beat England, we got one over on them. You know what I mean? And so Saka, Eze, Rice, like all of Arsenal goes on international duty.
Yep.
Trossard for Belgium. Saliba play for France. Gabriel's for Brazil. David Raya plays for Spain. Martinelli plays for Brazil.
Yep.
Gyökeres for Sweden. Odegaard, well, obviously he's not going to Norway, but
he would have.
Even Madueke got a call up last time out. Like they're all of our players go on international duty, and I think that it's going to be good for the U.S. that they've got so many, so much of a European contingent. I'm wondering if these two friendlies this week are going to be still maybe his last little bit of tinkering. I'm kind of hoping that we try and play what we're going to play. And
I would.
Okay, now it's game time. Now it's time. We're 7 months, 8, 9, whatever it is, 10 months out. I think it's time to put together what we're going to go with.
Yeah, because I think if I'm not mistaken, there are a total of 4 matches before June 12th when the World Cup starts. And there's Ecuador, Australia, Paraguay, and Uruguay.
No, I know
And that
they're going to play 2 more in 26, right? They'll play a couple more warm up
yeah,
friendlies, won't
they'll
they?
probably play 2 more, so they probably have 6 games.
That's what's left in the year
Yeah,
in
that's true. But they
25. Yeah.
probably have 6 games left
Okay. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's a break in March. But
Sure.
and I think that, no, they probably play a friendly in May too.
I'm sure
There's
they'll
probably
play one like right before the tournament. There's always like a
there's
send off
probably
game.
7 or 8. But at this
Yeah.
point, I mean, right now, even if you're not don't have all your star guys, you need to play whatever system you're going to play now.
For sure.
You need to play that system. So if guy number 22 is there, he knows what he's doing. You play that guy, you go from there, and you keep moving. And so then it's plug and play of, oh, okay, well, if Pulisic is here, he'll do this. That's good, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you play all those guys.
Yeah.
I wouldn't play like every guy. Like, so I might play the guys what I think my team is in the first game. The second game, hey man, you need to have guys that can replace those guys, and it's a friendly.
Yeah.
Make sure those other guys who travel from wherever they came from get a chance to play, and take it and have them take it seriously. Let them think
Right.
and let them know that you're playing for a space, a spot on the team, and then go from there. Because other than that, Poach hasn't shown anything, and so since he hasn't shown anything on the sort of cohesion success side, it got to be now.
Yeah.
It has to be.
I think we do. I think we have some quality too. Like Chris Richards is playing really well for Palace. Tyler Adams is starting every game for Bournemouth. Both teams are playing very well in the Premier League right now. I'm worried about our goalkeeping situation.
Do we have one?
If Matty Turner is our starting goalkeeper, still,
no, I'm joking. No. I don't. Who was the other guy? Oh, I can't remember.
It wasn't Zach Steffen, or has that been too long? I haven't. I guess
I think it's been a while since Steffen. I don't think Steffen's who's the other guy.
I wonder who he called up this time.
I'm trying to think who the other guy is. Who played in Japan? It says Freeze.
Oh God. Yep, Matty Turner. So Matt Freese and Matt Turner. Yeah.
Is that it?
And Diego Cochin and Roman Celentano. I don't know if this is the actual squad because it lists 5 goalkeepers, so I'm not sure.
I don't know, man. I just well, I mean, even before we get there, we need somebody who can defend. So I don't know. I'm just God.
Well, Serginho Dest is doing all right as well. I think he got called up this time.
Good.
And like I said, Chris Richards. I'm worried about. I guess it'll be Yunus Musa would probably start right now if it was me. So it would be a midfield of Weston McKennie, Yunus Musa, and Tyler Adams. It's probably that's not too bad. Chris Richard, Anthony Robinson. We got some quality here. The center of our defense is probably going to be an issue, and scoring goals. Other than Pulisic, we'll need somebody to support. I think that's going to be our biggest issues, but hopefully the coach can figure that out. He's going to have to, man.
Well, if he don't, he won't be the coach much longer. And I know I made my point what it was earlier of, hey man, I didn't think he was a great hire anyways. And I'm not saying I would do better than him, right? But what I am saying is I just didn't see anything from him. He literally was handed some amazing situations and did nothing.
I still think his best claim to fame was what he did with the Southampton team.
Yes, because he created the breeding ground for Liverpool to be good.
And that's like the best thing he did. I mean, I guess keeping Spurs in Champions League for 4 or 5 seasons, whatever it was. you know, maybe that's why I hate him. Because he's like Spurs' best manager ever.
But I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have an answer because you look at that and you say, well, it's just been. I just after I mean, I'm being honest. I know I started with the whole Champions League thing and what he did. I once I found out that was like a thing, I really questioned the mentality, man. I really did.
Yeah.
And then to see the results at what Chelsea, he coached at Chelsea, right? Chelsea, and then at
That's why Patrick
PSG,
hates him.
he was terrible at Chelsea, but at
Yeah.
PSG and wherever else he was, like it's
I think he
just
was at Sociedad at one point.
he was bad everywhere.
Might have
And the
been his
thing
first
is,
job.
in those places, he had like amazingly good players, so it's no reason. So
Yeah.
I just look at that and say, I'm gonna leave it like that,
Maybe maybe we'll it's a little bit annoying to think that once again we're kind of like our best attribute over the years, if you look at it in World Cups, has been heart, has been drama, has been, verve and passion, and big moments, and just kind of grinded our way through games, kind of, effort and hustle and harried our way through games, until the last tournament, really, where I thought, okay, we kind of have a team who can play the ball around. We have a little bit of tactical nous, and then we just get completely just a tactical embarrassment versus Haaland, who was not even that good. Louis Van Gaal just.
And then and then there's a lack of consistency. There's a lack of urgency when the player's on the field. I don't think they believe in the manager, and you can tell when a player believes in the manager. And I think the players do play for the badge, but when the badge makes the decisions they've been making, you kind of look at it and say,
yeah.
and as an American, I'm excited, just to for maybe the opportunity to see him play in something real. But at the same time, you look at it and you say, this is just enjoy the tailgate. You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of where I'm just gonna try and enjoy it for what it is. I'm not gonna hang my World Cup hopes on USA doing anything.
And hopefully, the World Cup is memorable. But as a kid looking at the Donovans and the Dempseys and those other guys that did cool stuff, even though we knew those teams weren't better than anybody else, but we knew that they was going to leave everything on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we might not have known as younger people a ton about the managers and stuff, but we never cared who the manager was because we could see the impact on the field. We're not seeing that anymore.
And who was Bruce Arena?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Who was Bob Bradley? Like,
they were just dogs. Like these guys
randoms,
played for them and they were dogs, and they played, and there was a pride there. And even though Klinsmann was imperfect and he made mistakes, but the first thing he said, which I completely understood, was we need our players playing in Europe because they have to play against good competition. Because all our players used to just play here. They used to play in the States. And and the funny thing is we actually performed well. But the caveat is that the best players of those groups, they played in Europe. All of them played in Europe, the good ones.
Yeah.
And so now more players are playing in Europe and we've fallen off. How's that possible? And this is at the same time where Brazil is less than what they've been.
For real, yeah.
And like a lot of the powerhouses are, Italy is less than, like lots of teams
Argentina's
are less than what
transition.
They were. And we still didn't find a way. And I always make the joke, right? And we still found a way to not find 22 guys. Yeah. In a nation of 360 or 370 million people
crazy.
with immigrants that can play here. We haven't found 22 guys.
And that about sums it up. I just hope that our star guys can give us a show next summer. I'm gonna enjoy it regardless. That's for sure. And
yeah, for sure.
Hopefully it can be an awesome tournament for all the right reasons. But of course, we do have an entire Premier League season to get through, and hopefully we can continue to bring you these episodes. We're going to keep it super chill this season, so I'm not going to make any huge promises. But yeah, we're definitely enjoying it. We're definitely hopefully to keep bringing this show to you as we've just gotten back started for the season. So go ahead and hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, of course. Thanks for being here, and we will see you next time.